Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Tom's Corner, where you can hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Topic of our lesson today: do we always put God first? Okay, before we even start into the lesson, I will clue you in on some of the things why that I write things down. I am compiling a whole series of different topics concerning the Bible. So far, I'm doing this on this kind of paper. You can see the lines in it. Uh, I'm compiling all these together, I'm saving them up, and I might put it together in a book form. And we're talking about a stack like that, okay? So I do this so that I can use them actually for reference points. Somebody will ask me a question, I can usually find it in what I've already written in times past. And as you know, when you get older, sometimes your memory's not as sharp as a tack. Okay, this way I can always go back and say, this is what the Bible says. First Chronicles chapter 11, verse 15. Now 3 of the 30 captains went down to the rock to David, into the cave of Adullam, and the host of the Philistines encamped in the valley of Rephaim. 16. And David was then in the hold, and the Philistines' garrison was then at Bethlehem. 17. And David longed and said, oh, that one would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem, that is, at the gate. 18. And the three brake through the host of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Here's a very important part in this lesson today. But David, this is what David said, but David would not drink of it, but poured it out to the Lord. Now you keep holding that thought, and then we're going to explain that to you. 19. And said, my God forbid it me that I should do this thing. Shall I drink the blood of these men that have put their lives in jeopardy? For with the jeopardy of their lives they brought it. Therefore he would not drink it. These things did these three mightiest. Now these were men that were so strong and mighty that one individual could almost hold 1,000 people off. So we're not talking about somebody a one-on-one, you hit me, I hit you. These guys were ferocious, and they were great fighters, and they were renowned. Now, these were some of the people that stayed with David as his guards and captains. Okay, here we go. The Rock of Escape is located in a wilderness of Moron, or Moron. It's Mron. You can pronounce it any way you want. David and his men were on one side of a mountain, while Saul and his men were on the other side. Now Saul was trying to trap David, but the messenger from God told Saul to return and fight the Philistines. Instead, David and his men marked the spot as the Rock of Escape. Now, this was located in the mountains of Zepha. Again, I'm not good on Hebrew, no way, shape, and form, and I can't give you all the fancy names. I'm just giving you the simple, what it says, Ziph, is around. Now, this part is very interesting. Zepha is around 28 miles or 52 minutes by car in our time from Jerusalem. Now let that sink in. You didn't have modern roads, and you didn't have smooth highways, and you didn't have a car back then, much less probably a donkey. And these men went 28 miles and they fought through the Philistine encampment at the gate and placed in their, what I'm saying, their crucible, or what do we call their leather pouch that held water, and brought it back to David. Can you imagine that? It's hard for me to even imagine that. Now, these were the three captains traveling that distance through enemy lines just to get a drink of water for someone they love. Now, my wife does that for me, maybe not that far. And most of the time, and does not complain. She does ask some things. This, I don't like getting into this too much, but I'm going to ask. I can't even read my own writing. She does ask some things, something like, if my legs still work. Now, if that's a pun or a joke, I sure killed it that trip. But more than not, she will ask, but she doesn't complain about doing this. Why? Because she loves me. And other people will do things because they love people. Think about this. They will go out of their way. Oh, yeah. And the sad thing of it is, in the world we're living in today, everybody thinks of themselves. And they think that you should cater to me. In other words, it's all about me today. You know that. I want this, I want that, and if we don't get it, then we criticize people for not bringing it to them. Okay, sometimes we all say out loud our wishful thinking. Didn't David say that? It was his wishful thinking. He never in his life dreamed that they would do that. Okay, now, David could not drink the water because his men paid too great a price for it. And that, David couldn't do that. He took the water and he poured it out. Now listen to what he said. He took the water and he poured it out as unto God, gave it to God as an offering to God. He couldn't drink it. Because why? The price was too great a price. Okay? Now, for he knew he was not worthy of so great a price. In all that we do, we must consider the cost. Remember, our soldiers are paying a great price for our freedom. Some with their lives, and yet we take it for granted. The freedom we have, we actually take for granted. I know sometimes I criticize things in the government and I feel it should be run this way or that way. But overall in all, the overall thing is these people that go into our services are standing up for us so that we ourselves don't have to fight that battle in our country. And I think you understand what I'm saying. Okay, some of their lives, and yet we take it for granted. Just like we do to Jesus. We fail to thank him by placing ourselves first. And if we get time, we might remember him in our prayers while always asking for something for themselves. Don't take him for granted. He is always there trying to help you if you will let him. God bless. We'll see you the next trip.